Hello, this is Kristi Carter with Global Positive News Network, and I have the privilege of introducing to you Gabriela Gonzalez Olimon. She is the Environmental Education and Investigation Coordinator for the Colorado River Delta Program at the Sonoran Institute, based in the Mexicali, Baja, California. Since joining in 2016, Gabby, as we like to call her, focuses on promoting ecological restoration in communities near the Delta, coordinating school and community presentations and workshops. So Gabby, what was the reason why this foundation was started?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how Sonoran Institute started. Okay. And this is a nonprofit organization, and it started working in the southwest of the U.S. Around 25 years ago, and shortly after, it started working in the Colorado River Delta in Mexico. So the last bit of the Colorado River on the Mexican side, where it should connect to the Gulf of California. So we've been in this area, southwest of the U.S. and northwest Mexico, for more than 25 years.
Wow.
And all our projects are around conservation or restoration. So we have projects in Tucson and Phoenix, and here in Mexico, which is a project or the area that I'm based in.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So this foundation, the Sonoran Institute, has been around for 25 years?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And here in the Delta, around 20 years or so. So the mission of Sonoran Institute is to connect people and communities with their natural resources, and with the natural resources that nourish and sustain them. So all our projects go around those lines: conservation, restoration of different habitats, and so
wow. That is awesome. That is awesome. And so do you actually get like engineers out there and restructure riverbeds and clean things up? Is that kind of what you do?
Yes. So the Colorado River Delta Restoration Program in Mexico has a team of around 40 people.
Wow. Okay.
And it's formed by engineers, natural resource engineers, biologists, oceanographers, ecologists, communications teams, geographic systems teams also, and well, the education component is a big part of that, and that's mainly what I'll be talking about today. So yeah, our project in Mexico works around three main goals. One of them is to restore the ecosystems along the Colorado River Delta. The other one is to reconnect the river with the Gulf of California. So just thinking about reconnecting a river with the ocean seems kind of impossible. So it's been a lot of years of work, and this involves everything, like you were saying, from carving back the river channels into the ocean, restoring the soil and the land to be able to restore or plant the native species that used to be there. So we also have a restoration team, and we have our own nurseries where we produce the trees and shrubs and herb species that we are gonna replant back in the or by the river. So it's a very, very big project. And yeah, and the other main goal, which is the one I usually work on, is renewing the relationship between the community with nature. So my main job is to take people out from the city into nature, to see the river, meet the river, and reconnect with their regional landscapes, which here in this part of Mexico used to be the river. We lost it around 60 years ago. And yeah, I can tell you a little bit about how we lost the river here, but
that sounds interesting. I mean, how do you lose a river? Is it, just why don't you go ahead and tell our audience about that?
Perfect. Yeah, so In the U.S., people are very used to hearing about the Colorado River. So it starts in the Rockies and it flows through 7 different states in the U.S. along the Southwest. And then it crosses into Mexico and it crosses between Baja California and Sonora, and then it meets the Gulf of California. That was its original path. So it's close to 2,300 kilometers. It used to flow from the Rockies all the way to the ocean. In the 1940s, the U.S. and Mexico signed this binational water treaty where both countries decided how much water was going to go into Mexico, how much to the U.S., and what we were going to use this water for. So in that treaty in 1940, we decided between both countries, the U.S. and Mexico, that all the water from the Colorado River that was going to go into Mexico was going to be used for agriculture, industry, and human consumption, so to use in the cities. So agriculture, industry, and human consumption, and we left nothing. We left zero for the environment. We left nothing for the river. So as soon as the river crossed into Mexico, we allocated all this water for these 3 main uses, and we left nothing on the river channel. So naturally, from the 40s to now, the ecosystem degraded. There was no water on the river. The forest, the riparian forest, started disappearing, and with it, all the animals that lived in it.
Yeah.
Right? And well, another ecosystem other than the riparian forest that was degraded was the estuary, which is where the river meets the ocean. So there was no fresh water flowing into the ocean, and a lot of species depend on that perfect combination of
and that's delicate
salty water. So all that, all those kilometers from the border to the Gulf were gone. And by the 1980s, around 80% of the natural riparian ecosystem was lost. So in 40 years, we lost most of our native ecosystem along the river. So what Sonoran Institute is trying to do here is restore little by little these ecosystems. And we know that it's going to be very hard to restore the whole river path. And because now there's cities, there's a lot of agriculture in the area, but at least little by little, restoring little patches of forest. And as of right now, today, we have restored more than 700 acres of riparian forest.
Awesome. Fabulous.
And it's the largest and densest riparian forest, cottonwoods and willows along the river in Mexico. So it's very important for the community and also for wildlife, of course.
That is fantastic. Wow, you have a beautiful explanation of all that. Now, it's a good education for myself and for our viewers, I'm sure. That is fantastic.
I think it's very important to understand where the river is supposed to go, because a lot of cities, more than 30 million people in the U.S. use water from the Colorado River. And I think it's important to understand where the river should go and understand that there's more people here in Mexico needing water from the Colorado River or using the water, because we use it in our cities.
Yeah, exactly. So because of the restoration, so now you're being able to provide, good health for the river. So it's going to be like, it's kind of like the main vein of water, it seems like. And then it will provide, water for the cities as well as crops, and then keep its own health. So you're combating all these problems and you're solving problems. That is amazing. That's awesome.
Yes.
So,
and creating habitat for wildlife.
And so things are flourishing. Both the cities are flourishing, the farms are flourishing, the river, the animals, the lichens, and all that fun stuff is happening really well. That's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you see coming down the road in maybe the next 6 months or so with the Sonoran Institute?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk specifically about our work with communities right now. In the last 6 months, from January to now, we've reached more than 1,600 people, mostly school kids that we reach through workshops in schools or that we take to the river to meet the river, to walk along the forest and get to know their native plants and native animals, learn about the story of the river, its history. And then we get to kayak along the river and sometimes even swim in it. So this is our one of our favorite parts, reconnecting people with nature. And we've been able to do this from the past 5 or 4 years to now. And on average, we reach more than 3,000 people a year. And this year, just from January to now, it's been 1,600 people that have been to the river and meet it for the first time in their lives. So it's very beautiful to get to see their reactions, because the river is part of our story. Our city was founded because of the river, and then the last 2 generations haven't met the river. There was no river at all. There was a dry riverbed and no forest. And now we, just in the last 10 years, we've seen from 50 bird species, now we registered more than 360 bird species.
That's a lot. That's awesome.
Less than 10 years difference. Yeah, so that's a big difference that a little water can make.
Amazing. That's amazing. Wow, you guys are doing an incredible job. And you know, when you bring people out into nature, it just revitalizes the spirit. And we all need each other, you know, and you're creating a beautiful habitat for humans, animals, farm crops, cities. I mean, it's fantastic. So, you know, on behalf of Global Positive News Network, we really appreciate what you're doing. So thank you so much. And Gabby, thank you so much for being here for this wonderful interview. In fact, I'd like to come down and meet you and go for a walk along the river. I think that would be a lot of fun. And, you know, we can maybe videotape that, and so we can show our audience the work right there when I'm there.
That would be amazing.
It'd be really fun. So Gabby, thank you so much again. And I want to urge our audience to go to the SonoranInstitute.org website. Take a look, see their success stories. Read their Growing Water Smart newsletter. They have some fantastic information and education. You can also donate and become part of what's happening there at the Sonoran Institute. So again, Gabby, thank you so much for this interview, and I'll be coming back to see you pretty soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.